That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool. Been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. Been spending most of their lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise.
Hello, welcome to the 5:39 news update on TV's #1 news broadcasting station, JOMG. I'm lead anchor Jefferson Jackson Turner, and this is my co-anchor,
Jesus Shuttlesworth. Our top story tonight, the Boy Scouts of America. We've loved them for centuries, but a Senate investigation has shown that for 29 years, the Boy Scouts have been lacing their wonderful cookies with grade 4, beautiful quality Texican-Mexican dope, and let me tell you, that is pretty addictive. So, if one of your family members loves those cookies, check them and to a rehab center. And tough break. Back to you, Jefferson.
Today, George Steinbrenner, owner of the New York Yankees, has heard that he bought half of China yesterday. In exchange, he gave 3 of his starters on the Yankees to the Kobayashi Tigers in exchange for half of China. It's the first deal that the Major League Baseball has ever done like this, and hopefully more of this will happen in the future. Back to you, Shuttlesworth.
Our biography tonight, the subsequent rise and subsequent fall of Chuck Norris. It will be touching, let me promise you. Me and Jefferson, our big Chuck Norris fans, will be watching. Will you?
Yeah, I really loved him on Walker, Texas Ranger is my favorite show. Anyways, back to another news story. Conservation/preservation. Is it really the solution to threatened/endangered species problem? Find out more when we go to our anchor.
Since the dawn of time, man has hunted for survival and depleted the natural resources to help out their common cause. Starting with the Indians. Then the cowboys. Yeah! Throughout history, ranging from the Native Americans to the cowboys to the world today, we have all affecting the environment positively and negatively. However, as time approached us, from early as the 1600s to 1400s, wherever you want to start off, we have affected the environment negatively each year, more and more, up until 2006. The Indians and the cowboys did not do a great harm to the environment. However, with new technologies and advances in the world today, we have began to destroy the habitat and environment of animals, plants, and ultimately the destruction of our own life if we keep up our pace. Conservation preservation is a way to solve this problem, as you may already know. However, a lot of people don't know what conservation preservation is. So we went to our schools and asked the students and faculty, in their opinion, what is conservation preservation, and here are the results.
Sir, what is conservation preservation?
So we're gonna get the ladies.
Man, what is conservation?
It's evaporation.
Sir, what is conservation preservation?
What is conservation preservation?
The type of cotton candy.
Milo, what is conservation preservation? As you can see already, we've been asking various students and faculty what conservation preservation is, but they don't seem to know what the answer is. So we've decided to take a clip from Billy Madison to incorporate what conservation preservation is. This is the Nib High School academic decathlon between Eric and Billy. Billy has 8 million points, or Eric has negative 40 million Zen. As we know, proceeds do not go to charity. Billy is in the lead, so Billy will ask the question to Eric. The 9 categories are burning dog poo and the human response, the Industrial Revolution, my wife, the trim, purple nurples in society, conservation preservation, business ethics, numbers, foods that end in hamburger, and as you all know, the answer to that category is hamburgers, and potabilis. What question would you like to pick for Eric?
Conservation, preservation.
You see, conservation preservation is like a story I knew called The Puppy Who Lost Its Way. Conservation society was like the puppy. In a way, it was changing. But preservation, my friends, that was a revolution.
As you can see from the video, not one person knew what conservation preservation actually was. But if you stick with us just a little longer, then you will soon find out what this great mystery is. That is all.
What is conservation? Conservation is the sustainable use and management of natural resources, including wildlife, water, air, and earth deposits. The conservation of the renewable resources like trees involves ensuring that they're not consumed faster than they can be replaced. The conservation of non-renewable resources like fossil fuels involves ensuring that significant quantities are maintained for future generations to utilize. Conservation of natural resources usually focuses on the needs and interests of human beings. For example, the biological, economic, cultural, and recreational values such resources have. The rainforest, for example, contains a wide range of biodiversity, providing food stocks for local populations and a source of timber and medicines for other countries. Conservationists accept that development is necessary for a better future, but only when the changes take place in ways that are not wasteful. What the conservationist opposes is not the harnessing of nature for mankind's progression, but the fact that all too often the environment comes off the worse for wear. Conservationists are proponents and advocates of conservation, especially those who advocate that conservation of all the species in an ecosystem.
Preservation, in contrast to conservation, attempts to maintain areas in their present condition and ensure that they are untouched by humans. Preservation was formed due to the concern that mankind is encroaching onto the environment at such a rate that many untamed landscapes are being given over to farming, industry, housing, tourism, and other human developments, and that we are losing too much of what is considered natural. The difference between preservation and conservation. Whereas conservationists wanted regulated use of forest lands for both public activities and commercial endeavors, preservationists wanted forests to be preserved for natural beauty, scientific study, and recreation. The difference is continued to the modern era, with sustainable harvest and multiple use the major focus of the U.S. Forest Service, and recreation emphasized by the National Park Service.
The environment. A variety of environmental problems now affect our entire world as we know and love and call Earth. As globalization continues and the Earth's natural processes transform local problems into international issues, few societies are being left untouched by major environmental problems. Every environmental problem has causes and numerous effects, and most importantly, a solution. Conservation and preservation are ways to help these environmental problems. Environmental movement. The environmental movement is a diverse global social and political movement which advocates for the protection, sustainable management, and restoration of the human environment in an effort to satisfy human needs, including spiritual and social needs, as well as for its own sake. The movement is united by a commitment to maintain the health of natural systems and in its recognition of humanity as a part of and not separate to ecosystems.